Hi, channels. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I am Victoria from BitMart Exchange, and I have amazing guest here, Chris Miles, the CEO of NFTY. And so I know Chris for a while, and I know all the good stories about the team, about the product. So please share all the good stories I knew with our communities, and welcome to our channel.
Yeah, Victoria, thanks for having me. I'm been great since I met you. I think the first time we met person was kind of in New York. I think we've got a pretty funny story there. I've got a twin brother, and he introduced himself to you as me, and I think that's where the relationship started. So it's been great working with you, and I'm very happy to be here today and tell your community all about what we're doing.
Lovely. And by the way, during our session, we're going to distribute 1,000 NFTY token to our communities. So please, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to share. We will select 5 questions from the chat box, and Chris will answer them in the very end. So, and also we are actually have the NFT token is launching right now on the BitMart platform at the Shooting Star sessions. It's a great opportunity for you all to buy the NFTY tokens with the awesome discount rate. So please, and it's gonna run really, really fast. We're closing soon. So please subscribe if you are a huge fan like I am for NFTY. Yeah, and back to you, Chris. Please tell me, I know you have 22 years of like professional working experience in the IT industry, always as executives and entrepreneurs. And what happened? What you see like after 22 years and you decided to jump to blockchain?
Yeah, it's a great question. At my core, I'm an engineer, a software engineer. I love building different programs. I started programming in the 3rd grade. So I was very, very young, started with a program called GW Basic that most people probably don't know about today. And I've kind of been a serial entrepreneur. I've jumped through many different new technologies as they've emerged. So for example, when the iPhone came out, we launched one of the first games on the iPhone. So that was really exciting. We participated in self-checkout units at stores. We've done home automation. And so really always jumping to new technology streams and getting excited about them. Whenever blockchain came out, I was super excited about the potential of immutable data. I think a lot of people don't understand from a culture standpoint, long-term, how important that can be for us. Mm-hmm. And then when NFTs came out, I looked at that technology and thought, wow, this is something pretty amazing. Currently, it's really been in artwork, mm-hmm. which is fun and it's a good use case, but there are so many use cases. So I got with my twin brother and my dad, who we own a gaming company together, and said, we really need to do something in the NFT space. We got to jump in head first, because over the next 10, 15, 20 years, this is going to be revolutionary. And so that's where my father, Ed, started getting in Clubhouse channels and started listening to people talk about NFTs and what was going on in that space. And we started hearing common problems. So people were listing what issues they were having. And the 2 big things we heard was, it's really, really hard to make NFT, and discoverability is a big issue. How, if I make one and I put it on the marketplace, how do people actually find it? Yeah. And so that's where this whole idea that we're talking about today, the NFTY that we pronounce Nifty, came about. We started it back in June of last year, and we've really been blazing forward with a huge roadmap and a great team that's making everything happen very, very quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really like the concept. I believe I read on your white paper is about like Nifty is to create a quality validation layer for the NFTs. So the buyers actually can find the really trusted collectibles, and the creators be able to build their reputations through the networks. So there's something is very interesting and it really got me attention is about the advocates. So mm-hmm. how this works, I know there's like some reward system has been built in, and tell me more about it.
Yeah, great question. So, traditionally the way any market works is there's buyers and there's sellers. So you can think about eBay or Amazon, and you've got a buyer who lists their product and a certain amount of sellers that come in and buy it. And so what we've added is this advocacy layer in between those two. What happens is it's a pre-sale stage. So before the NFT actually goes for sale, there's a window, we call it allocation window, and that's customizable. Let's say it's 7 days. For 7 days, anybody that's holding the Nifty token has the ability to go through anything that's going to go for sale and advocate for what they like. So this is like a like button on social media or up button on upvote on Reddit. And so they advocate some of their Nifty tokens towards the NFTs. And so when the NFT eventually goes on sale, these advocates are actually minted into the metadata of the NFT. And then when the NFT sells, 7.5% of the proceeds of the sales is distributed to the advocators. So they're financially incentivized to advocate for NFTs they think are going to sell for the most. And then they get rewarded in the tokens, whatever the NFT sold in. So if it was sold in Ethereum, they'd get rewarded in Ethereum.
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of the tokens, so I think the tokens are currently built on which network again?
So we launched, our DApp is actually on Ethereum right now, and we're doing a marketing partnership with Polygon. And so we're going to be coming to Polygon before the end of this month. Wow. So you can connect to our DApp either on Ethereum and then again on Polygon soon. And then we're launching the actual advocacy part is going to beta launch February 1st. And so we've curated our own first artist. And so we just want to we're kind of looking, speaking of community, it's very, very important to us. And so we're looking for people to come in and help us with the beta launch and test and do the advocacy part. We're picking the first NFTs that are going to go through this advocation window, and then they're going to go for sale. And so the more people we can get in to test that process, the more we can ensure that all the payouts distribute correctly and the audits go the way that we want them to go.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, Polygon is a really good infrastructure for the NFT marketplace. So it will really help, especially these days, like gas fee is always the issue for everybody.
Yeah, that's why we're doing it. So right now on Ethereum, to avocation is free, but you have to stake your tokens. So to get from actually buying the tokens to transferring them and staking them, you're at about $80. With Polygon, we think it's going to be less than 10 cents. Wow. So it's significantly cheaper.
Yes, that's great. So is there any cool features you really like about NFTs?
Yeah, I think for us, what we're trying to create is this this curation system of human beings. And so when you think about like how content is given to us today, it's all done by algorithms. And a lot of people talk about these algorithms like, oh, is it giving me the right content or all that? And so what we're doing is we're creating a financial model that's incentivizing people to pick the best content that is going to sell for the most and needs the most visibility. And so we're hoping that not only can this be used for the art world originally, but it can expand significantly into any NFT space. We've been talking about doing some even land deals and deed deals on islands and places. So there's a lot of different use cases that this can be rolled out to.
No. What's your take on there's a lot of NFT marketplace these days on the market. And right now we also have the concept of metaverse. I do think there's a lot of connections can be happening between one to another. So what's your thought? I mean, you from the traditional IT industry, programmers, very decent, also really understand about the gamings. So these kind of an element is happening. And from my kind of humble opinions about we're still at the very early stage. I mean, the games these days is not as good as I was used to play. And the marketplace is all over the place. And now we have metaverse. So there's I was always curious about how people expert like you seeing this actually going to moving forward.
Yeah. So I will say it's the wild, wild west for NFTs. And then in the metaverse is even younger. From a philosophical standpoint, the metaverse is going to be huge. I see NFTs playing straight into that. There'll be the asset class that's used to cross into these metaverses and show display ownership. What we'll have to figure out is the technological aspect of how we actually implement this in a way that's decentralized. What you don't want to do is just have Unity, for example, integrate NFTs, and then you only have, you then lose that decentralization because now you're beholden to Unity. So we need, as a community, we need to come up with a way to build the metaverse so that it is truly decentralized, and then it can integrate with any sort of NFT protocols that are out there. But I think it's going to be huge. You're already seeing a lot of money go into it, and it's again, there's no like top line players of who it's going to be. Sand, I think, is doing some cool stuff, or is it the Sandbox? Sand is the token. Wow. Yeah. Sandbox, yeah. Wow. So yeah, it's, for me as an entrepreneur, it's exciting. It's a super exciting time. There's so many opportunities, and it's just about creating good products that support the community.
Mm-hmm. Well, and also because you have a really long-term gaming background, so have you ever considered connecting your game community to the NFT marketplace? I mean, I asked this question like many times to you.
Yeah, it's so funny. So I get this all the time. I will say I'm a huge advocate for NFTs in games. I'm a big gamer. I think that putting NFTs in games is pun intended, a game changer. Mm-hmm. Owning a gaming company and owning an NFT company, it's kind of funny because we haven't put them together. We have spent a significant amount of time talking about it.
Right.
But, we're the kind of people that we don't want to work on something unless we're truly passionate about it and truly feel like it's the right thing. And so we just haven't found that right niche. I don't just want to throw an NFT into a game that doesn't make any sense to have an NFT in. Mm-hmm. And so it's in the back of our minds. But I will say my passion right now is definitely building out the Nifty protocol and what we're doing. But I'm sure somewhere in my career, there'll be an NFT game come out somewhere.
I really appreciate your honesty, to be honest. Like these days, we have seen a lot of people just like randomly come up with a project and say, hey, we're GameFi, and then we're this and we're that, but they don't have the right experience. They don't have the actual value. They don't really care about the communities. But I mean, you have both, but you decided, let's just focus on one at a time. That's really, really valuable. I mean, for people who have a skill set like you can just simply just put everything all together. But I think you really appreciate your communities and really did a good job. And I do see the article you posted yesterday, and to explain what's happening during the current period and all about the like integrations to the different chains. Do you want to share those information with us?
Sure. I think you're talking about the liquidity transparency report. Yeah. I think that, in the DeFi space, it's all about being transparent with your community. And the frustrating thing that I've found with DeFi is the fraud and the amount of scams that go on. I mean, they happen in every industry, but in this space, because if you can just get somebody seed or have them connect their MetaMask to a certain, dApp, like they can take everything from you. And so I think that's made me, as the CEO, want to really focus on that transparency to our community so that they have a sense that we're not going to do a rug pull. We're not here to just try to make a quick buck. We're really trying to make something that we see that's much needed in the community. And to do that, we have to maintain the trust. And to maintain trust, you maintain transparency. So it's if you join our community, we have a great team that's in Discord and Telegram all the time. We're here to answer any questions. You can talk to us anytime. Like we want to build that community as most successful as we can.
That's beautiful. Truly, like actually really spend times and then to communicate with your own community channels is a lot of work and efforts. So that's great.
Yeah.
I believe there's some current NFT is available on OpenSea, right? So what's the plan on this? Are you planning to go with the other marketplace or?
So the way that our protocol is built is we can go to any marketplace. OpenSea is obviously the industry leader right now. And obviously Ethereum is the chain of choice when it comes to the volume of how much, investment funds are getting put into NFTs. And so for our beta launch, we are going to be going on OpenSea. It really goes to our artist. At this point, we've signed on 11. We're calling them founding artists. So we have 20 people that we're giving this slot to be our founding Nifty artists and help us launch the protocol. And so we are working hand in hand with those artists. So it comes to the artist on what they feel comfortable with. Mostly everybody's been OpenSea. So we're going to start the integration and listing on OpenSea, but we're not, as long as it's a Ethereum-based chain or Polygon-based chain that's based on smart contracts, we can integrate we can use it. So it can go to Rarible or any of the other players that are out there.
That's very easy. And for creators, that would be great. They can transfer the NFTs from one place to another.
Yes, that's right.
So I'm curious about, because this is the very first time for me as well, I heard about the 20 founding artists. So what's the story about them? What kind of like artists they are?
Yeah. So, our background's really been in Hollywood and movies. Our biggest game is with Paramount called The Godfather. It's actually Paramount's most highest grossing game of all time. And we built that game. And so we also work with Tom Hanks and Billy Crystal and a bunch of other Hollywood actors. And so we've had our hand in that space for probably 15 years. And so when we built this protocol, we thought, well, if we just build it, and we don't have any good NFTs to start showcasing in there, then it's going to be hard to get adoption. And so we wanted to reach out and find partners that were interested in the space, that had already their own communities, their own fan base, so to speak, and bring them on board. And we're giving them a special, we're doing an AMA with each of them. They're getting a press release. They're going to go onto our website and all of that. We're actually going to be doing starting announcements of those in 2 weeks. And so we'll be announcing them individually as they are kind of joining on to the Nifty founding artist team. So super excited about that. They're a bunch of very, very talented people. And I can't wait for everybody to start to get to know them and be able to ask them questions and see what their inspiration is.
Okay, perfect. So like now we going to select some questions from the chat box to see how the community react. I do see there's a lot of like positive vibes over here. It's very supportive. It's beautiful. I do see a question is kind of interesting. It probably better, especially for now, for people to actually understand the NFT marketplace. So the BP Music was asking how to confirm an NFT when keeping buyers and sellers with the intervention of the exchange.
How to confirm?
How to confirm the NFTs when keeping buyer and seller with the intervention of the exchange.
So the way it'll happen is the buyer will list the NFT on our DApp, and then advocators, the people that are doing the confirming, will use the DApp to pick which NFTs they want to do, and they will allocate their tokens towards it. So that will be the locking mechanism towards the NFT. So the NFT actually filters through our protocol, and then it will go for sale, let's say on OpenSea. And so then you'll have all the OpenSea buyers on there that will go and bid on it. And then ultimately, let's just say there's one, that one would get sold. And then the payout address would go to a smart contract that distributes the payments accordingly to the advocators and the artists and all that. I hope that answered the question. I'm not sure I understood it fully, but there's definitely it's completely audited and a locked in system that keeps everything protected.
Perfect. Actually, speaking of security, I do see we have the community was wondering, security of the NFT is always an issue these days. And especially there's a lot of hackers happening. So what's the Nifty token has been done and to improve the securities and the project's customers' asset?
Yeah, so we use Certic, which, the more I've been around this industry, they seem to be, I would say, the industry leader. They're close to the top. We did a lot of work with their audit team to go through all the smart contracts. And I will say they did an amazing job. Not only did they look at the code and making sure the smart contract itself was good, but they also looked at all the liquidity, the Gnostic safe, who had the keys, how the keys were saved. And so we went through that process. It's a public document. You can access it through Etherscan or on Certic's website.
Yeah, that will be really helpful though. I mean, like we do see a lot of issues has been bringing up during the communities. I mean, the protocol itself get audited is very, very important. So it's not just like I wrote a bunch of stuff and I see it's secure and it is secure. So having third party definitely build the actual layer of the security.
And we are interested in doing a bug bounty too. We want to wait until the protocol itself, the advocacy side is actually launched. So there's the front end UI that can be tested, but the idea is launching a bug bounty probably in during the beta period to see if anybody can find any vulnerabilities.
Okay, that's great. And also, I believe there's a lot of insurance companies coming out and specifically designed for the crypto protocols. So that could be something we all can be considering in the future, have the traditional insurance company getting involved to have the like really decent risk models to reduce all of these to guarantee all the users have the, like, their assets safe, either it's with the exchange or with the protocols. So yeah, that's great. And there's a question I actually really like it, and it's about the sustainability. So we see a lot of like projects that come in very, very strong, and then somehow they're starting to like, you know, slow it down, or maybe they don't really care about the quality anymore. So well, the Nifty token, how do Nifty token to improve the qualities of the NFTs on the protocol?
Yeah, I think, you know, obviously we do have a very aggressive roadmap that is going to get built out over time. You know, obviously there's the risk factor in any project of it losing steam. I think that's really where it goes back to community again, and having a good community that's helping driving the roadmap. And so a lot of times what happens in these big, and I've built a lot of big projects like this, the founders and stuff get so much in the weeds. Sometimes they lose focus of like the bigger picture stuff. And that's where having a big community support helps. You know, we have been talking about integrating into a DAO at some point and doing protocol governance. And so really keeping our, you know, the people involved and us being able to hear from the community, I think will continue to drive the project and the roadmap into the right direction.
Got you. And we already talked about the coins, but I do see there's a question is rising about what's the purpose of the tokens itself? Like, I guess it's about tokenomics and the functions.
Yeah. So the way it works is, so let's say I buy 100 tokens, I would stake those in our DApp. And then that gives me, think of it as 100 votes. I have 100 advocacy votes now that I can vote towards NFTs. So when the NFT is in that advocation period, the ability for me to advocate is based on how many Nifty tokens I have staked. So if I've got 100, I could advocate all 100 to that one NFT, which puts me into that pool. Or I could put 50 on that NFT and 50 on another, which puts me into two pools. And the way the pool works is, let's say it's just you and I put 100 and you put 100, and we're the only two people that advocate for that NFT. When it sells, we would split that 7.5% evenly between the two of us. So whenever you're advocating, you can actually see the pool, you can see who's advocated towards it and what percentage of that pool you have, which is the percentage of the payout that you would receive.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, the final question is also my favorite.
Right.
Where we can buy the NFT tokens right now?
So we are launching on BitMart tomorrow at 10 Eastern. Yes. Is that right? They're available on Uniswap right now, but on BitMart, they'll be available starting tomorrow. And we're super excited. You know, if anybody wants to learn more about us, I highly recommend joining our Discord or our Telegram. We're always there. You know, I'll drop our website as nftytoken.io. So if you can get to our website, you can pretty much get to anything else that we have.
Perfect. So there anything else you want to share with us? Like, what is the big expectations of the year? How we can make this year become so successful?
Yeah, you know, I keep going back to this same common message, but it's about community. So I would love to see our channels grow significantly, and our main goal is to get advocacy. So advocators. So we want to see when NFTs go through our network that they're getting thousands and thousands of people that are voting for them. And those are the people that will become influencers in this advocacy space. And so we're super excited about it. I really appreciate everybody having me here and taking the time to listen. And I hope to hear from all of you guys, and we can learn and grow together.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Chris, for spending time and share all of these amazing stories and this great project with us. And we are also very excited about the launch for tomorrow. And if you guys have any questions, we have all the information listed below about the team and about us. Please feel free to reach out. And thank you so much. And I know right now the world is a little bit crazy, but stay safe and stay healthy. And see you guys later, I guess. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.